warm welcome to all the participants and our distinguished speaker for today, Amit Bansal. On behalf of Sama Audit Systems and Softwares Private Limited, I welcome all of you to yet another session on Analytics Wednesday. Today is the 41st session of Analytics Wednesday, which we have been conducting. Thanks to all support from all the distinguished speakers and all the participants who join in. And this is being streamed live on YouTube channel also. So participants join in there on the YouTube, and later on we find that there are a lot of views on YouTube. So this is being followed quite nicely by the professional fraternity. This I would not talk too much about Sama Audit today. So directly would like to introduce Amit so that we look forward to the session today, which is, a great session in terms of analytics and visualization, use of dashboards. How do you use dashboards? Because I think a picture can tell much more than, a written words. So I think today, for an internal auditor, for any auditor, for a reviewer, for a professional, it is very important to talk in terms of storytelling and pictures in graphical, have a graphical interface and show things, trends, patterns, etc. in terms of, visualization, because that gives an impact to the receiver of that particular communication which is intended to be given to that particular person. So I think we are looking forward to this session. This is again unique because we've not talked about much about using dashboards in the past, in the last 40 sessions. So today being the 41st session, we find Amit is going to talk about a topic which is very close to the heart of most internal auditors. I would like to formally introduce him. He is a chartered accountant and a company secretary. He has more than 16 years of experience in the BFSI segment. He has a multidimensional career, where he's worked in business, trading, product risk management, and internal audit. He's worked in organizations like Anand Rathi, Kalpataru Group, Edelweiss Group, and has as head of internal audit of Edelweiss Wealth Management. He has focused to automate the entire internal audit department and driving agent of continuous audit monitoring as part of the audit plan. He is a data enthusiastic and keeps striving to learn new ways of data visualization. He has dealt with complex business environment with 8 legal entities and 12 businesses in the capital market segment. And with ever-increasing regulatory compliances in this space, he has adopted data analytics as tool to provide near real-time assurance to the management and board. He is driving his team to build audit KPIs across all the businesses for measurable audit performance. So I think quite a handful, a very short biodata from Amit, but a very powerful one. So over to you, Amit.
Thank you, Deepji, for nice intro. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining here on this beautiful evening on this beautiful subject, which is visualization. So sometimes it's all about, so as an internal audit professionals, we always look into the data, but when it comes to the visualization, that gives you immense pleasure that you are looking at something which is like data tables and data things as a part of charts and beautiful, colorful charts, colorful visualization. That's something which really creates a lot of pleasure for me. Okay, I'll just share my screen. Deepji, this is something which is share screen, right? That's what I need to do.
Yes, right? You have been made the host, so. Yes, we can see the screen.
Okay. Okay, is my presentation is visible to everyone?
Yes, please.
Yeah, sure. So, so as we start this session today, this conversation today, I'll just start. We'll just cover a few important aspects of data visualization through dashboard. When we'll cover how turning data into an art is something which is turning data through visualization into art is something which is quite beautiful thing. We'll talk about whole brain thinking. We'll go through with some visualization concepts, which is very important when we are getting into the dashboard creation for the visualization of data. We'll cover a few examples, very simple one, which will help us to understand what exactly is required to be done when actually we're creating data dashboards. Few stories I would like to share with audiences today, and then we'll get into how pure proper data dashboards can be created. What exactly are the principles? What things need to be taken care while creating such dashboards, which will make sense to the audiences of those dashboards, and then some tools which are quite popular, which are available to the people and which can be used for creation of such dashboards. I'll start my session with one beautiful quote, which is from Ben. The purpose of visualization is insights and not the pictures. Ben is a famous American computer scientist, and that's something which is quite interesting quote what he has come up with. That's it's insight, it's not pictures, right? So we are not just creating charts through data dashboards. What we are giving through those charts, through those beautiful picturization of the data, some insights which will be useful for user of those data dashboard. They will actually get some insights from those pictures, right? And which will be used for creating some decisions, take some decisions. It's like a what I perceive is data visualization, data dashboards are like it's like telescope, right? Which increases somebody's perceptual abilities. You know, that's something which amplifies the cognitive abilities to understand the complex data set, right? If I just give the tables, which has a huge database, because we all are dealing with the complex data sets which are flowing like millions of data sets which are flowing across all the process, across all the businesses, something which is real time. You know, if we get into those data, probably the insights will be lost. But if you create those data sets, if you present those data sets through the dashboards, beautiful pictures, beautiful charts, it helps the audiences, you know, that immediately clicks at what exactly the story which is coming out, what trend is something which is coming out. So that's something which is one beautiful quote which I would like to share with my audiences today. Another one is again something, you know, this very important quote again from Gary. Um, you can achieve simplicity in the design of effective charts, graphs, and tables by remembering three fundamental. These are the three fundamental principles when it comes to the data visualization or you create the data dashboard: restrain, reduce, and emphasize. Sometimes we all can just get into one understanding of the data dashboard that um, you create more and more charts, more pictures, just fit it into one data dashboard, so the maximum information can be provided to the audiences, the user of the dashboard, right? But it's actually other way around, right? So what is more important when somebody is actually creating data dashboard for the user, somebody is actually using the data dashboard, is restraining, right? So restraining something when you just need to keep it precise, right? Something you should restrain, you should actually cover only the most important factors or most important indicators, which will help the user to understand or to focus on the important KPIs only. It's the significance of those important KPIs not lost. Reduce, you just need to understand that okay, this is something which is the most important one we should cover as a part of the dashboard, and the emphasize, right? So emphasize on something which should come out. It's like a storytelling, right? So it's just not the picture which is given as a part of the dashboard. You just need to emphasize what exactly somebody wants the maker of the dashboard wants to convey to the user of the dashboard, right? That's the second important. That's something which I wanted to share here. The third one is the greatest value of a picture is when it forces us to notice what we never expected to see. Now, this is something which is quite near to my heart when it comes to the visualization. This is something what I always follow while creating my dashboard. This is something which I always follow as a passion for me. And that's where it is connecting, turning data into art. I see this. I see it in this way: the data and the visualization, the pictures. Data is like a science, right? Which is a fact, the logics. Art visualization is in art. So you are actually through data dashboard, through visualization, you are converting that science into an art. That is something which help the user of the dashboard to notice something which is never expected to see through the data tables probably. Yeah, and that's something which is a beautiful quote which came from John thing. um, in my next slide, this is I'll talk more about this whole brain thinking. Now this is something which actually was an ad campaign which was created by Mercedes-Benz in 2012. And that's a beautiful concept which emerged here. You have so we all so most of us knows that we have two part of of our brain, which is divided into left brain and the right brain. The left brain is something which speaks like I'm a scientist. I work on logic. I always work on the facts, the data. Always calculative, right? Something which we are always love to play with the numbers, right? That's a fact. That's something which is forming part of our left brain. Why? Whereas the right brain is something which speaks about more creative, more design, right? More something which is free from all the logic, right? Something which is passionate, right? Something which is an experience, which is colorful. Um, that's something which is our right brain. So this is like functioning of left brain and the right brain. Um, that's the concept which has been used for creating this ad campaign by Mercedes-Benz in 2012. They spoke about that, the Mercedes-Benz is creating that. So they have a extensive research, extensive data set, and they are creating some innovation, and which is actually converted into the design, right? So they just juxtaposed the left side responsible for logic analyzed with the creative intuitive right side. And that's through visualization the campaign communicated that the company, like the brain, is a combination of opposites working together. They create technological innovation, breakthrough engineering, right, inspiring design and the passion. And that's the whole brain thinking which conceptually came as a part of this ad campaign. So visualizing data, that is combining left brain or the right side, lets you optimize decision making, that speed up the ad hoc analysis. It helps you to see trends which are emerging, and then immediate actions which are required to be taken. Right, that's something which is a concept of whole brain thinking. That's the converting data into visualization through that data dashboards. The most impressive thing is that accurate and informative visualization is just a click away for you. It's not something which is a rocket science. Somebody with a very basic knowledge of creating charts can actually convert these large data set into something which is readable format through the data visualization, right? So, and there are a lot of tools which are available in on the public domain which can be used. And as basic as Excel sheet, Excel gives you an immense capability of creating such visualization. So that's something which is available at the click of the button. That's where the data visualization plays a huge role in this world. And so much data is pouring from a different system, different sources across the business, across the processes. It's all connected, integrated, connected with a lot of sources, right? And through visualization, what we achieve, we actually cut short the one which are the most important one for the decision maker, for the user of the data, to precisely presenting to that level. When they can take the decision, they can create an insight about it. um, Moving forward, let's set the context. I actually created few I just came out with few comic examples here, but giving a very important message when actually it comes to the data visualization. I'll take a pause here, a little pause here, and I'll urge my audiences, today's audiences, to just go through these slides, and then I'll probably just make that message which is coming out very clearly. In this first slide, some the people are sitting in the cab in the meeting room looking at the data set. Um, the the dashboard is flooded with the charts, graphs, and matrix, right? And the people are lost. What exactly is this message coming out? So we can be in a situation where we had as many KPIs and tracking matrices as there were combinations of brands and the countries, right? Which is huge, which is a lot, which is coming out with this particular slide. Moving to the next one, with all of the big data floating around these days, it's important to have the right tool for visualizing all those data in a useful way. Well, there's a lot of fancy softwares which are available in the public domain. You can buy it. However, the most important thing is to identify which is the most appropriate tool to present your data or visualize for the purpose of visualization. Because it's just not the picture, it's just the message. Some message should come out very clearly for the user, which can be usable, right? Which can be used by your data dashboard user. Moving further, um, you put something which is interpretation, right? So again, setting only the pictures as a data dashboard will not serve the purpose, right? It will leave people, the users, a lot of scope for interpretation. Anybody, I mean, if I put a picture, I put a data dashboard or charts to 10 people. If I really don't give them message what I would like to give through my visualization, it will leave people, the user of the dashboard, to so many interpretation. Look at this particular example where sales, if the graph is going up, somebody is saying sales are up to date. Going down, sales are down today. Marketing, if it again going up, somebody can just see the marketing is working. It is going down. We need to cut spending, so on and so forth. I can take interpretation to as many numbers as I would like to. If the maker of the data dashboard has not put the things in a very clear context, that's very important, right? The last one is something which is, again, readability is very important. If you create so many KPIs, so many charts, different pictures, what all you will do is that you will leave the user or the businesses left with the flood of information, which is nothing but the data, right? So if it's not differentiated between the data tables, data sets, and the visualization, because ultimately that's if it is not, I mean, if the proper message is not really given there, right? The important piece here is that identify which are the most important measurements, and then you just put it forward to the user. So message is loud and clear. Right tool has to be adopted for visualization of data in the most useful way. If you really use a wrong tool, the probably the message will be lost. Data in dashboard does not magically reveal itself as actionable insight. It's a user who will have to bring that message clearly out of those pictures or out of those dashboards and give it to the user so that it can be actionable, which can be taken on the basis of insights which are coming out of the dashboard. Moving to the third, need a context along with the right data visualization. Otherwise, business won't be able to make any decision. And don't please leave the charts, the visualization or data dashboard for interpretation of the audiences. Yeah. Any thought? Please feel free to just put it as a part of the chat box, and probably we can just discuss things. Okay, so in my next section of today's conversation, I'll just this is one of dashboard example which actually uh, perfectly give the message which ideally should how should be a data dashboard should look like. This is a recruitment dashboard which is depicting the KPIs for HR manager to look at, to measure and manage, and accordingly the decisions to be taken. The important piece is again, which is important, that you need to identify the key metrics, key KPIs. If we talk about the HR managers, what important thing is for them to look at, or the CHRO to look at, is the recruitment cost. Where is my recruitment cost is increasing or decreasing? A time to hire, how many days, number of days my team is taking to hire people, hire candidates. That's second. Third is probably the time to fill the vacancies. So it can give you an indication for to the managers, to the people who are looking at, who are planning for their staffing. They can plan accordingly that okay, these many number of days will be required to fill for the HR to fill the vacancies, and accordingly they can create the pipelines. They can create those requirement in advance. So that's something which is time to fill. How many people are accepting my offer? So this depict again whether I'm sourcing the right candidates, whether my offers are right, is as per the standards of industry numbers. That's something which will come out from the offer acceptance rate. And then hiring pipeline. So what are my key sources which gives me the maximum candidate list, or availability, or if I'm able to hire people from which source, something which should come out. So these are the key metrics, key KPIs which are required to be, which any CHRO would like to continuously monitor, so that he can align his team along team for managing this particular function, the recruitment dashboard. So that's one dashboard which I wanted to discuss with the audiences today. Moving to the second one, which is sales activity dashboard, which is quite near to the CEOs and the sales heads. Something what would they would like to continuously monitor. Looking at the again key matrices to define the purpose. Somebody would like to see that what is sales pipeline, what is my sales pipeline at the various stages, starting from the lead generation, moving to the closed leads, moving to the customer actually acquisition. Those things will be monitored by the sales heads for their team. What are the sales sources? What are the sources when maximum leads are being generated? So the message is again coming out from even the recruitment dashboard or the sales activity dashboard. You need to keep it very simple. You need to keep it very precise. Emphasis should be only on the key parameters, which will help the user. In recruitment case, recruitment dashboard case, it was the CHRO. In case of sales activity dashboard, it's the sales head, to identify what are the areas where they just need to focus, because ultimate outcome from these insights should be how to increase the sales through monitoring of these measurement in case of sales activity dashboard, and for how to reduce the time to recruit people. How can I just increase the performance of my team? How can actually I release the bandwidth? What are the key source of generation of candidate leads? That's something which insights they would like to see, and those are the things should actually be measured as a part of my dashboard, rather than just flooding the information with a lot of KPIs, which is not making any sense for these users, right? Moving further, these are few beautiful data visualization stories. Again, what data dashboards visualization can actually offer to the users is something which I wanted to discuss today evening. Let's get to this first story. Graphs, if well designed, get the point across faster than tables. So we all coming. So I myself is internal audit person. So I would love to see data in tables. I can slice and dice those tables to those data through tables. But when it comes to the decision making, when it comes to the stories which a user would like to see, if you actually offering huge data sets in tables, the insights can be lost. Now look at this in this particular story. So frankly, I mean, I'm not saying that tables are really not good to present the data or give the insights to the people, right? So it's really tables are fine to look up the numerical value, or if the audiences actually desire a level of specific data sets, then the table can be actually used by them, by um, the insight giver, right? But if your data has an overarching message, then think about graphing it. in state, right? If you think that this is something which is giving you a story, which is coming, the story is coming out from these data sets. It's better that you present those data sets through the graphs. In this particular example, if you see, I mean, so this is before showing the data. Gender identity by role. That's something which is a table which is given to the user of this information, which shows that the woman, men, different identity. What is their ratio at the various level, including board, director, manager, associate, and etc. um, that's something which is table which is not depicting much, a story which is coming out of this. But when you convert this in if you actually depict, or if you convert this particular table in a square area chart, which is a visualization way, you will actually depict this women are well represented across all the levels, across all the profiles, including board, director. That's something which is coming, the blue color, right? That's the difference between if you actually present the data sets to the table, and if you actually put this as a part of some graphs or some beautiful pictures. Um, Moving to the another one, resist the urge to pack everything into one graph. And when I started my data journey, so I'm data enthusiast. When I started my analytics journey through dashboards, through visualization, this is something what I also, I also understood that this is something what I had been doing. And we at a times, the users actually try to fit in more and more information in just one chart, so that and then leave again, something for user to look at, user to identify which what exactly they would like to understand from this. In this particular example, again, loan portfolio by risk rating is something which is depicted again before showing data. If you look at this particular chart, the entire portfolio is divided into the quality of loans. That's something which is depicted into different colors. That's something which is depicted through the data tables as well. So somebody has to actually look at the numbers to identify which exactly exactly what quality of my portfolio is where, and where is it heading, something which I'm not able to make out anything here. This is something which happens when we attempt to answer too many questions in single visual, and when we actually end up and end up into not answering any single one as effective as we could, if we break things up into separate graphs, right? In this particular case, we have actually, put everything into one graph itself. But if I break this particular graph into two sections, I can actually, take out a story which is coming emerging out of it. So if you look at this first section, if I'm breaking it into the first section, the overall trend, which is a good news, right? So something which is emerging as a positive news. The overall total portfolio has increased 81% year over year, right? So that's something which is depicted into the first chart. Um, and the standard portfolio, the good loans, is also increased from 89% to 95%. This is significant, which gives comfort to the CEO or the user of this dashboard that overall situation looks good, right? The portfolio is increased. The standard things are, standard loans are also increasing. There can be situation that standard percentage of standard loans is increasing because the portfolio is increased. But still, I mean, that's something which is a separate thing to look at. But if you look at these numbers broken into two sections, then the first story is beautiful, right? So the CEO will have a lot of comfort that this is something which is a good news for us. Now look at the other stuff. Leave apart the overall portfolio, leave aside the overall portfolio in the standard section, the standard portfolio out of this total numbers. Keep it aside. Let's look at some other one, right? So very high risk portfolio, high risk portfolio board rate. What exactly is happening there? That's a mixed results. That's something which is coming out, through these charts. That's where probably, the positive trends are there. It's going through the cycle, except the moderate risk loan, which is the orange one, which is which has increased or which has tripled in volume the past year. Now that's the area where the risk guys or the CEO need to consider, or the user of the dashboard need to focus on, and the action has to be taken. Whereas this insight is something which was not available when it is coming to this particular chart, right? So that's the visualization. That's the user, the person who is creating data dashboard, person who is using the data dashboard, should be careful that we should resist ourselves to pack everything into one chart. Break it into the pieces, bring out the stories out of that, and that's something which will be very very powerful. The third story, this is something which is connecting the dots so the audiences knows how elements are related, right? When showing what could be viewed as a disparate data, right? So something which is here, but isn't designed thoughtfully, so your audiences does not have to work hard to understand, right? In this particular example, this is a project management example. Choosing more effective visuals made the association between the different part of the data and story more appealing, right? In this particular example, if you see your company is asking, okay, I would like to increase the sales by certain percentage from the current level. What are the areas where we need to focus? That's something which company would like to understand, or the CEO or the user of the dashboard would like to understand. If you look at this particular section before showing the data, you see that everything is clubbed together, so you're not able to make out which are the areas when we need to focus, because the data is not talking to each other, right? There is a story, there is a connection between the various data sets. Yes, there is, but this in this way of presentation, visualization, probably that connection is lost. If I break everything, or if I actually choose a different way of visualization of the same data set, let's see how it happens here. I actually put this table into horizontal bar chart. Then it will start depicting the relationship between the various data. So how many projects were there? 340. How many of those were in scope is 264. Now look at this is something which is my area of working. This is 264 was the number where the company could have put their submission, or can actually try to get some business out of it. But let's see the proposals. So out of this 264, only 92 were the cases when the proposal had been submitted. There's a huge gap between the scope projects and the proposals which are submitted. What exactly had happened wrong is something which is need to be checked if the company would like to increase the sales, or the user would like to increase the sales. Now look at the another number, which is say wins, right? So out of 92, there are 37 wins only. Rest all are lost wins, right? So what a user, or what are the creator of this data dashboard need to look at the reasons, break all these numbers, which is like providing providing insights about the overall 264 things. uh, the entire thing is broken into the proposals and the wins, right? So that's the number. So now let's look at the first, why we are not submitting, why we are not able to submit the proposals. There are two reasons which are coming out very clearly. Couldn't meet the RFP deadlines, insufficient resources. This is making like more than 50% of the reason, right? So if the company really works on this particular aspect, the the proposal submission, the probability of winning the leads or proposals will increase by 50%. That's something which is coming out very clearly. Why are we not really winning the proposals? Because the delivery timelines is something. So that's something which is 35%. Because the delivery timelines are probably not met, what is expected out of the RFPs. So overall, all in all, if you see in this particular storytelling, that's something which is resolve the timing, resolve resource issues. That's something which is the opportunity. That message is coming out with these two broken numbers, right? Which is probably is not coming out in this particular visualization way. So important is connect the dots so the audiences knows how the elements are related. They can actually make out what exactly needs to be done. All right. So that's something which is very important. This is another example. I will not go much details about this. This is distinguished between insights and the call to action. Some information will be only for information. Insights, that's something which there's nothing to do. It's just that the user of data dashboard would like to understand or know. But then you distinguish, you take out the information should be clearly visible in the data dashboard when the call for action is required. In this particular example, moderate is something which is really doing good, but the severe and the mild is the area when the people, where the sales team or the resource team or the CEO or the user of the data dashboard should work to increase, the sales, to increase the business opportunity to treat more patients in this particular case. So while creation of the data dashboard, important is the data should actually distinguish between the insights and the call to action. This is something which I would like to cover as a time travel. It's prehistory of the data, where hunting manuals were drawn on cave walls, and supposed handbooks to the spiritual afterworld. Right. So these drawings were used as how-to guides for interpreting and surviving the world, which in a sense maintain true of the data visualization today as well. Moving to the second one, when the maps were created, so today we actually cannot think ourselves without the maps. We are lost without them. This is the most obvious example of the data visualization. This the asset which has been created for the modern world as well. It's actually created the Roman times, which was to understand and plan the movement of the armies. Right, so the competitive strategies could have been created if plotting of the data through these maps. That's something which started. Moving to the 18th century data visualization, when the chart of that's something which is actually created by Justin. He's Joseph Priestley. He's an English theologian. He introduced chart of biography. This was an incredible timelines of events that organized several centuries of history. It depicted rise and fall of empires, prominent figures, and major historical moments of thousands of data points. This is the first time ever then the lines were used to plot the duration of an individual time life, which actually changed the entire game of the visualization. Moving to the 19th century, when the mapping of loss of life, 50 years after Napoleon tragic march of Moscow, this Charles Minard, who set out to portray the loss of life with one relatively simple data visualization through the chart, right? It was easy to understand that the rapid decrease, and the something which came out very clearly, that rapid decrease of the temperature was the ultimate downfall for the army. Moving from this 19th century to the modern data visualization, when we're living in a world which is full of data flow, real-time data which is coming from the multiple sources, big data. We are using AI, ML. All the decision, all the strategies, everything is prepared across the industry by using insights which are being created continuously from the data. Uh, you use the war rooms are created, big screens which are created for analyzing the data, creating the insights, and working on near real time on the things, right? Um, okay, let's get to this very basics of the data dashboard now. What exactly is the data dashboard? We all know that this is a way of visualization of the data, right? But what exactly is this all about? It's an information management tool. Ultimately, this is information management tools like an MIS, but depicted or but presented differently, presented through the beautiful pictures, which analyze and display the KPIs. So if you look at the MIS, which will give you the entire set of data for reader to look at, for reader to analyze things, take out the message of his own required as per his own requirement. Whereas the data dashboard is a specific KPIs which are predefined. These are the most important parameters to be tracked by the user of the data dashboard. And only presenting those KPIs, those matrices, and that relevant data sets, so that the the user is not lost into the ocean of the data. Okay, so that's the data dashboard. It helps monitoring of overall health of business department specific processes depending upon the user. Again, it gives you a KPIs. It's a measurement which the user or the function head or the department head or the business heads are required to manage, so that they can take corrective action. They can look at the things, whether the things are actually moving the way it should ideally be, as per the metrics, as per the defined strategy. That's something which can be clearly depicted out of the data dashboards. These are customizable. This all depends upon the strategy, the time. The KPIs not are something which are not really fixed. This can actually be changed depending upon the change in situation, change in business strategy, change in competition, whatever, right? So what exactly are they really trying to achieve? So these are customizable. These are not static one. This actually transfer the data dashboard, transform the raw data into something human readable. As I spoke, the MISs or reports are something which is given to the user for their own interpretation. There can be a situation when the real message is something which is lost, or which is something not captured by the user, which is not the case in case we present the data visually through data dashboards. So it's something which is human readable, something which uh, our right brain of the user can actually visualize the things. Okay, this is something which is happening in my function, in my process, or in my business, and then accordingly you can take the decisions wherever required. Moving to the next slide, build better business dashboards. How can we really, build the dashboards? Again, we can fit in the thousands of the KPIs as a part of this particular dashboard. But that's something which is not we are supposed to do when creating this data dashboard. So first is the foremost thing is know your target audience. Who is the user of this dashboard? And accordingly, your KPIs, your matrices will be defined. Who are they? It can be a CEO if the business you would like to see where the organization is moving on. It can be CAE, the audit head of internal audit. I would like to personally track my team's performance in terms of how many number of days are taken for completion of audit, how many audits are past the target dates of completion, how many open observations are there which are not completed, where is it stuck, what budgets are crossed. So these are few KPIs probably I, as a head of internal audit, would like to track. Whereas if you come to the CEO level, he would like to see what kind of revenue numbers are being generated, or whether sales are as per my target numbers, where the business is heading to, which all geographies are performing well or not performing well. That's something which the CEO would like to see. A sales head would like to see what my salesperson. It can be broken. The sales number which CEO probably is looking at a very composite level, at a very consolidated level, can be broken out. So sales head would like to see the same number in a broken way, right? So who are the sales RM who are doing perfect job? Who are the sales RM who are actually behind the targets? That's something which in all the messages that you, while creating the data dashboard, while starting that journey of creation of the data dashboard, one would like to understand that who is the user, what are they, what exactly they do, what is the use of this information, what level of details, it's a macro level or the micro level, depending upon the the user, right? Layout your dashboard properly. It should not be lost. um, and we all know, right, the first 5 minutes, first visual impact will have the most effective impact on the user. And that's why it's suggested, it's advised that you should identify the most important KPIs and keep it on the top of the dashboard, so that the message is very clearly coming out that these are the most important KPIs, where where this process or this business or everything is stand, right? Which KPIs are performing well, which KPIs are not performing well, where the decision is to be taken. Trends, comparison, and distribution in middle. So this is kind of an insight for the user of the dashboard. So it can be kept in the middle. And then if at all you would like to add the data cards or tables, uh, keep it at the last. so that somebody would like to see, get into details what exactly this number or this chart is depicting. I would like to see the detailed numbers. That is something at the bottom um, of the dashboard, right? Excuse me. Moving to the next one, choose right visualization. Not the data. So what exactly when I say choose right visualization is choosing the right kind of chart, right, based on what exactly information you would like to depict in as a part of the data dashboard. um, they can be pie chart, they can be line chart, the bar chart. All you need to understand that which chart will be can be used for what kind of information, because that's something which is important if you are actually creating a trend analysis. Sorry, if you would like to present the trend in certain numbers, probably pie chart is something which is not good, because it will not give you first impression or first visualization of the chart. It will not give you the trend that's clearly coming out. If you look at this example, um, if you look at the bar chart, it gives you clear indication, okay, the March has come down, April or May or something like that. But if you look at the pie chart, it's not giving you any indication, right? Less is more. That's a starting message that you should restrain yourself from creating too many things or putting too many information as a part of the data dashboard. Right? Don't overwhelm your audiences with too many numbers, right? The visualization, because need to focus on what is most important. Put those things or those measurements only as a part of the data dashboard. Group related matrices. It's not so person can make out step by step. This is first, second, third. If you are putting all the revenue and the sales number, put the first section. If you want, let's take an example of say ARC, right? So that's something which can be looked at. So all the revenue number, the business number is the first section. Pre-acquisition, the loan portfolio quality can be the second, which is kind of a risk matrix. And then resolution is something which can be the third section, which can have auction numbers, which can have other stuff. Important. This is important. You build dashboard that present insights, if because the things should be relative, should relate to each other. If you put one part of that particular group at one side, and if you put the another part at the last, probably the user of the dashboard will not be able to make any insight out of that. These are few core principles. Again, we've spoken about in the different slides about this, but still I would like to focus to talk a little bit about this. Always consider your audiences, or whether they need a short written report, more in-depth paper, more KPIs, something which need to be understood. Micro level or macro level is something what we need to see. Include annotation, add explanatory text to help the reader understand how to read or use the visualization, and also guide them through the content so that he can make the insight. The user can make the insights, can take the better decision out of it. Use pie chart with care. As I spoke, pie chart is not very good way to visualize the things if it is trend which is to be depicted. And that's where probably we just need to see whether the pie charts, where the pie charts are used or where the line charts are used. Avoid 3D. That's something which can visually distort the perception of the data. That should be avoided. Start something which is at the zero. Start bar in the column chart at the zero, which will give you a proper perspective of two relative numbers, right? Rather than creating the numbers starting from the mid of the things, right? Try small multiples. Breaking up the complicated chart into smaller chunks, rather than putting everything again, fitting everything into one thing. You just divide everything into 4 or 5 charts, so that the people can again understand what exactly is happening with that particular KPI. This is something which is a reality of people's brain. I wanted to cover here. It's a pyramid of the information flow. The bottom of the pyramid is something which is as a system with the managing information. This is something which is at the data. Data is actually converted into some information, MISs, etc., which is kind of an individual learning. This will be usable for the individual people only. That's something managing the information. Moving up to the ladder, something what you create into the reports or the MISs. When you're sharing knowledge, for the different for a group of people, that's something which is art or leadership. When the team is learning through that data, through that report or the MISs, once you create the visualization, which is on the top of the pyramid, that is something which is an experience what you're creating. This is the visualization what we are talking about right now through the data dashboards. This help the user of those information or the data to make decisions, to convert, uh, to use, to convert that data into insights, and then wherever the decisions are required to be taken, that's something which is can be created. Um, uh, so this is something which are these are the few dashboard tools which are available at the public domain. Um, my personal experience is start with the Excel. One can actually start working on data dashboard on the Excel sheet itself, because that's a very powerful tool. But that's something which can be converted, because Excel cannot be cannot be clubbed with the source of the data. You can automate those dashboards using these tools. The first is the Microsoft Power BI. It's a web and cloud-based analytics and data visualization platform. It's available at the desktop and the mobile application as well. This actually creates interactive reports, data sets that can be connected with a dozen of data sources. Again, um, this has embedded visuals, trend identification, custom reports, SQL Server. So personally, again, I have used the Power BI as part of my data dashboard journey, and it's a powerful tool which I can suggest to the people in the interest of the audiences here. Coming to the Tableau, I think a lot of people, a lot of us has already heard about the Tableau, which is something a very powerful data visualization tool. This is free package that offers data visualization, analysis, uh, intelligence. There's a paid version as well, which is more powerful, but that's something which is somebody can actually start the data journey, data dashboard journey, visualization journey through this particular platform. It gives you access of most of the paid range of the features, in-depth insights, data storytelling, analytics on demand. Okay, you can actually uncover data patterns like trends, behaviors. You can create a visualization that connect to the Excel, so you can actually take this to the Excel, which can be again shared with the various users. That's something which can be used here. Moving to the third one, which is good data. This dashboard again can be embedded into existing application for real-time access. So this is something which can be utilized here. Databox is something which is again is a cloud-based business analytics platform. It's again available for the desktop. You can use up to 70, I think 70. It's a clickable integration of connecting data directly with the Salesforce. I mean, the Google Analytics, HubSpot, Facebook, etc. So you can actually use the most of the data sources, connecting directly with Databox and create your own visuals, which can give you a beautiful visualization of the data. Vislo is something which is used in a lot of audit space as well. The insights which can be created with the from using the data analytics software like IDEA can actually be, or probably even the workflows, the audit workflow systems can actually be integrated with Vislo, and beautiful charts can be created, visualization can be created to gain a lot of insights about those analytics or those things. So that's something which again can be used at the Vislo. So this is it from my side for today's conversation. One thing I would like to add at the end, that whatever function we are in, whatever way we are looking at the various things or various information, we can get overwhelmed with those data sets. We can actually feel a little bit of lost into those things, and the data dashboards, visualization of these things actually can create a lot of insights for us. Uh, Whatever area we are, where we can be the sales, we can be in the operations, or the CEOs at all level. Um, and um, and that's the beauty of this. That's something which add to our cognitive skills of looking at the data, to gain insights, to gain to better make decision for better decision making. Um, so that's where the data dashboards can help all of us. So over to you, Deepji. This is something from my side.
Yeah, thank you very much, Amit. It was a wonderful presentation, from data to, from science, you said data to visualization, from science to art, that struck a chord at the beginning when you spoke about it. And uh, of course, storytelling, as we discussed in the beginning and throughout your presentation, is the best way, provided you are throwing out real insights into that story, making it crisp, making it, really readable to the user. So understanding the user. So being associated with Sama Audit, you did mention about it, but I have to add that, IDEA has its own sets of visualization discover, and IDEA 12 has been launched just 3 days back. And the version, but 11 and 10 also had visualization, which has been enhanced. And what is more important is that no one tool or no one solution would be best suited to any organization. So you have clearly pointed out that you require you may start with Excel, and you have Tableau, and you have Power BI, and you have IDEA, and you have, number of solutions which are available, and people have to work on that. But again, I have to just point out that IDEA has got a direct connect with Tableau and Power BI, because they thought in Canada that, no one tool is sufficient to deliver visualization, because, you require a number of tools to do that. So it is important that tools talk to each other. IDEA talks to Python, and IDEA talks to Tableau, and IDEA talks to Power BI, and so on. Because what is important is the imagination. What is important is what an internal auditor or an auditor wants to deliver. There's one question from, there is a lot of praise for you. Amazing, excellent. So I'm saying that it is excellent. It was amazing. But there's a question from Satish. He's talked about nice presentation. Do you think that, business has also adopted this? Because is it the auditor alone who's talking about, dashboards, or has the business adopted it? That's a question from Satish.
Sure. This is actually so what I believe this is started with the business only. So that is something, the CEO probably, or the business heads, they don't really have enough time to get into the data sets and get the relevant insights for taking better decisions. So dashboards are the most important tool, I would like to say, Deepji and Satishji. That's something which gives you the relevant inputs, because they are short of time always, right? So they will always gain insights from these data dashboards. So as I spoke, this is the most important part of the data dashboard, that you actually identify the relevant KPIs, which is the most important one, right? And then those KPIs are forming part of uh, forming part of the data dashboard. So relevant extracts, relevant insights are taken from the data dashboards for the CEOs, and I think that's most important tool for them to look at all the time. And in fact, there's a journey, Deepji, and that's something which is I've seen, right? So though a lot of CEOs would like to see data, they always take comfort from the data that I have seen. In my previous organization also, Rathi ji, I can take his name because he is always a data person, right? But if you look at the other CEOs, other head of the organization, they would like to see the data KPIs through the dashboard and gain insights for taking decisions. Focus on the most important part. That's my thing.
I think you're absolutely right, Amit. I'll just add to that, even 20 years back or 25 years back, I've seen businesses using dashboards, especially the multinational companies, from Europe. I saw them using dashboards in all their presentations which they made, and they made it compulsory for their different functions to make presentations using dashboards, and, which are easily readable and which communicate very clearly to all the users. So I think it started off with business, as you rightly said, and auditors have picked up a lot. Auditors, and especially after the advent of the audit committee and presentations to audit committee, that's gained a lot of importance.
Yes. Okay.
So I think there's a lot of praise, but no questions. And action-oriented data analytics used on daily action-oriented tools like Price Dynamics. Okay, so there's just comments. Thank you. I think we could. Shiv Kumar ji from ISRO is saying, I think ISRO just launched a satellite yesterday. So Shiv Kumar ji is on the moon, anyway. So 3 satellites in space again. whenever I talk about Shiv Kumarji, he's attended all our sessions. I'm always reminded of the satellites being launched and the wonderful job being done by ISRO in the country. So he's saying, I think we could use in budget and expenditure data presentation over the years and even in project planning and performance audit. Yes. So he's talked about that. We have Kagan from Turkey who said thank you so much. He's spearheading the analytics effort in Turkey on behalf of Caseware. So he's joined in, and he's also joined most of our sessions in the last 41st session we talked about, and he's almost joined all the sessions like Shiv Kumarji. So I don't see any other questions. A big thank you to Satish, all the other participants. A big thank you to you, Amit, and I think to the participants, I can say we are all available. You can write into Amit, you can write into us, and we'll convey it to Amit, and we'll get back to you if you have any queries or any questions or any thoughts, any inputs or any case studies to share. If you send it across to us, we'll send it across to all the participants who attended. So I think we can all learn together. This was a great presentation, Amit. I really thoroughly enjoyed it. I keep learning every Wednesday on Analytics Wednesday, and this was a really enjoyable, insightful presentation which you get, because as you kept saying, I kept thinking about what more I could have done, or what more my team could have done, because the tools are available. At a click of a button, you can do such a lot of things, but you need to be able to imagine and deliver what is right. So, a very insightful presentation. Thank you very much, Amit. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Deepji. Thanks, participants, for sparing this time during the evening hours and listening me. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Thank you. And we meet again next Wednesday for the next session. Thank you.